Hello, and welcome to the Advanced Center of Gravity tutorial. This tool from Lookup Supply Chain Apps portfolio helps you optimize your distribution network by pinpointing the optimal locations for your distribution centers while maintaining high service levels. Before we jump in, let's discuss when and why you should use this app. Picture yourself as the supply chain director at an electronics manufacturer. Your company is growing and you need to place distribution centers strategically to maintain high service levels. Your objective is clear: achieve a 92% service level by ensuring 70% of industrial product deliveries occur within 200 kilometers and 80% of home appliance deliveries within 300 kilometers. The Advanced Center of Gravity app will analyze both inbound and outbound flows to recommend optimal DC locations that balance those costs and meet your service targets. Let's see how. To get started, open the Supply Chain App setting in Excel and launch the Advanced Center of Gravity app. You'll see four main sections: input data, calculation, output data, and visualization. First, click Generate Template to populate pre-formatted tables. Let's analyze them. In the Customers table, enter each customer's name, location details, and the product group they belong to. If a customer spans multiple groups, simply add another row for that same customer and specify a different product group. In the weight column, enter a numerical value, whether kilograms, revenue, or any other metric that reflects that customer's importance. The assigned center allows you to specify for each customer if there is a designated DC from which this customer needs to be supplied. Same goes for assigned source. If there is a designated source for this customer, fill it in this column. In this demonstration, we leave these two columns empty, letting the engine choose the optimal center and source for each customer. Next is the Sources table, where you list each supplier location along with the product group coming from this particular source. If one source ships multiple groups, enter them in the same cell separated by a semicolon. Let's move to the Fixed Centers table, where you define any DC that is already in your network and must remain in place. Just enter their names and locations. Finally, the Product Groups table allows you to define product groups along with their associated service levels. Let's take a closer look at the Industrial Goods product group. Currently, its service level is set at 70%, with a service level distance limit of 200 kilometers or miles, depending on your selected unit. This means that 70% of industrial goods must be delivered from a warehouse located no more than 200 kilometers away from the customer. You might ask, what about the remaining 30%? By default, there are no restrictions on distance or service level for that portion. However, you can refine these further. For example, you could specify that an additional 15% of industrial goods must be delivered within 300 kilometers, while the remaining 15% would have no distance limit. To implement this, you would simply add another row to the table for industrial goods with a service level of 15% and a distance limit of 300. Now that our data is complete, let's proceed to the calculation section. Let's analyze the parameters. First, choose if you want to use kilometers or miles for calculating the distances. For this demo, we will use kilometers. Then specify the minimum and maximum number of centers you want to find, let's say 1 to 5. To indicate how much more expensive outbound shipping is compared to inbound, set the outbound-inbound cost factor on a scale of 1 to 10. We'll use a factor of 3. You can also save your scenario to the Lookup platform, but we will skip this for now. Finally, click Calculate. Once the calculation is complete, you will see a data ready for import notification. In the Output Data section, you will notice three tables. You can choose to export them all directly in the active sheet, but for a better overview, let's export them in a new sheet. The Assigned Centers table shows both fixed and newly recommended centers, their locations, the weight they'll handle, and the product groups assigned. The Inbound table maps each source to its chosen center, with distances, weights, and product groups. The Outbound table shows each customer's assigned center along with product group, weight, and distance. You can also analyze your results through interactive map and dynamic dashboards. Let's check them out. Let's start with the map visualization. Just click Open New Map. The map divides the network nodes as layers, so you can customize and analyze your sources, centers, customers, as well as the inbound and outbound relations for each product group. By clicking on the icons on the map, you can see more details for each customer or center. Alternatively, let's open the dashboard. The dashboard provides you with a summary of KPIs and dynamic charts, helping you understand your results, such as weight classes or source availability per product group. And there you have it. In just a few minutes, you've optimized your distribution network, placed your DCs in the ideal spots, cut transportation costs, and improved customer service. For best results, remember these tips and tricks. Enter multiple product groups in separate rows or separate them with a semicolon in the same cell. Ensure your distance unit matches your geographic region. Adjust the minimum and maximum number of centers based on your network size. Set a realistic outbound-inbound cost ratio to reflect your operations. Thank you for watching the Advanced Center of Gravity tutorial. For more information and troubleshooting tips, make sure to visit our support resources online.